Hey everyone, Dr. Eric, the fitness physician, where I talk about all things related to hormonal fitness, muscle medicine, hormone optimization, peptide therapy, and much more. It's all about longevity and health optimization. So typically I do a Testosterone Tuesday talk, and I'm continuing on from last week where I did a little bit of testosterone and discuss the difference between polycythemia vera and erythrocytosis. Commonly you hear physicians and patients talk about how testosterone can thicken the blood or cause polycythemia vera. I see this all the time. Drives me nuts. And one of my mentors, Neil Rouzier, talks about this all the time too. And it's like, it's not the same thing. Polycythemia vera is more of it's a blood disorder. It's almost like an autoimmune condition where all the blood markers are elevated. Erythrocytosis is just an elevation of the red blood cells, the oxygen containing portion of the blood, which really rarely has any problems unless it's ridiculously high. But again, if you're doing proper dosages of your testosterone, never going to be an issue. Therefore, with almost all my patients, I've very rarely had a patient who's had to give blood or phlebotomize because with appropriate lifestyle, nutrition, hydration, and appropriate dosage of testosterone, it's not an issue. Every now and then it can happen, no problem. But again, most of the time it's not the case. So I talked about that last time. Just finishing up to this time, when we talk about numbers, we look at our what's called our hemoglobin or hematocrit. Those are the red blood cell markers I look at for on a CBC or complete blood count markers on the test, on the lab test that I typically get and all of us get. So basically the bottom line is I go up to about a hemoglobin of 18 or even 19 and a hematocrit of 53. So anything below that, no problem. Above that, then you gotta start looking, okay, we need to adjust the dose or do we need to phlebotomize or something like that. Again, it depends on the clinical scenario. There's no cookbook medicine. There's nothing simple about it, but this is relatively straightforward in the fact that, again, typically these are the markers I look for. Because the bottom line is that hemoglobin, even up to an 18, 19 at altitude is totally normal. If you go out in the Rocky Mountains, Denver, Montana, Utah, most people are gonna have a hemoglobin of 18, 19, even 20. Totally normal, and they're all fine. You don't need to phlebotomize all these people. So people that basically are at altitude, especially even the people typically 4,000 or 5,000 feet and up, they're walking around hemoglobins in this range all the time, and they're fine. People with COPD or tobacco, smokers, people like this, same thing, no issue. You're not going to phlebotomize someone who has these issues because they're going to die. All the Sherpas out in Nepal, they're walking around at altitude 24/7 for decades, and again, their numbers are fine. You don't change that. So bottom line is, it's all, again, comes down to clinical scenario with how the patient is feeling, their lifestyle, everything else. Again, the difference between polycythemia vera and erythrocytosis I've talked about. With polycythemia vera, your white blood cell counts are going to be high. They're going to be typically over 12,000. Platelets are going to be really high, typically over 500,000 or more. And then, of course, the hemoglobin and hematocrit are going to be elevated too. But again, in this case, with testosterone, you're only going to see an erythrocytosis. That is the difference. It's a huge difference. And there's some advanced tests we can always do to look at that if someone comes in with a marker. If you want to screen them for polycythemia vera, it's a blood test that I can do. But again, rarely had to do that. So anyway, I hope that clarifies things on that issue. Let's put that boy to rest. Everyone have an awesome day. Like this post, tag me, tag your friends, share it. Let me know what you want to talk about, guys. Anything related to hormone optimization, peptides, longevity, anti-aging, let me know. Message me on Instagram, find me on YouTube, or go to my website, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to talk about. I'll gladly talk about it. I'll answer questions. Got a ton of free content out there. Reach out anytime, and I want everyone to have an awesome day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.